Welcome back to the Malt Miller YouTube channel, Homebrewers. Today's video is both something a little bit different to what we've done before and absolutely fantastic. Rob, what are we up to?
Well, you're all used to us going to commercial breweries on our Brew With Us series.
Yes, where we go and explore commercial breweries, recipes, learning from the pros, right?
Yeah, well now we're learning from other homebrewers.
So today we're visiting a very special homebrewer as part one of our new series, which is called Brew With You.
Come on in, this place is absolutely amazing. We're delighted to be down in Brighton today. We are here with Brett Harman of Harman Brewing in his amazing man cave, and we're getting a brew on.
First off, Brett, thank you so much for inviting us down. We're really excited to be brewing with you and being able to spend time in this awesome man cave because it is really cool. It's like, I talked to my brother about this and he said, wow, it looks like the inside of my mind. And I think that's pretty much a good description, right?
It's definitely the inside of my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little bit out of control, but
No,
yeah.
I don't think it's out of control at all. I think it's perfect.
It's absolutely amazing. It's like a constant work in progress.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But before we jump into Brewday, what would be awesome, Brett, is if you could tell us a bit about how you got into homebrewing. What inspired you? What was your kind of journey towards, well, where we are now?
Back in 2017, I had a guy that was homebrewing. He was on a G30, I think, and he brought some beers for me to try and to work. And I was blown away at the quality that he was actually able to produce at home. And I thought, oh, this could be a bit of a money saver. Got quite a crash course on what equipment I needed, and bought my first extract kit, which was a tiny Rebel Kutch kit at the time. And failed miserably with that.
You did show us a picture earlier. Yeah. I did see the picture.
It was a big fail. Yeah. And then immediately decided I was going to go into all grain. So got the minimum equipment I sort of needed, which was a few buckets and the cool box for mash tun, an Ace kettle, all purchases from probably Marketplace or eBay at the time. And yeah, then bottled for a short period of time, soon gave that up as a bad habit as well. Bottle conditioning, and it was just a bit of a faff. The bottle wand and things just sort of grew out of that quite quickly. Soon got into kegging, game changer for dispensing, and I think they've been fornicating in the back there because I think I've got 19 now.
You've got 3 kegerators and a keezer, and then your little mixed firm little segregated area as well, which is it's very cool.
So when you started brewing, were you did you always have this space, or were you like brewing in a kitchen, or?
I think I may have brewed once in the kitchen before I got swiftly ejected by the wife.
Yeah.
But no, it was this space, and although I'm really lucky that nobody else really wants much space in here for other things, it got taken over quite quickly. And and as you can see now, it's pretty much 90% brewing related equipment in here, and a little bit for tools.
Oh, and just a little sprinkling of Star Wars.
Just a little sprinkling,
just for decoration.
Yeah.
Star Wars theme's absolutely fantastic.
What inspired you to really go to town with the Star Wars stuff then? Because, it's definitely more than 10% of the space is taken up by Star Wars stuff.
So initially I was looking for a little bit of a theme to have for the brewery, and I saw Damien's Emperor's Brewery, obviously, and at the time I didn't realise how big he was going to get, and so I sort of just did pinch that idea a little bit, Damien, but you probably know that. And yeah, it did get out of control. I like Star Wars, but I'm not a super geek.
Yeah.
You seem to be more of a geek.
I am. So this is definitely up my street. I'm looking around seeing things like that I had as a kid that me and my brother played with. that we broke and that we lost. And,
yeah, and it was stuff that I wanted. So my cousin had some of the toys that I didn't have as a child. So what better way to spend my money now is on the stuff I should have had as a 5-year-old.
Great. Brett, tell us about what we're brewing today.
We're going to brew a red IPA. It's going to be a 90-minute boil. It's going to be Centennial Chinook through the hot side with a Citra and Strata dry hop edition.
Just what's like the inspiration behind brewing it? Is it a particular style that you really like, or have you drunk other commercial versions, or what's the situation there?
I haven't drunk that many really. I've definitely gone for Level Up. It's a beer that I've had before in the past, and I've enjoyed it. There are elements to it that I just want to maybe accentuate. I want to go maybe a bit more malty, a bit more West Coast leaning as well.
Yeah.
So the water profile is going to hopefully assist in that. And the Centennial, the Flame Out, is going to also hopefully help with that.
So this is not the first time you've brewed this recipe, and you've changed it out a little bit. How'd you get on with the first one?
First one was okay, a little heavy-handed on the dark malts, which meant that it came out a little bit darker. It looked fine in the trial jar, but after fermentation it actually had darkened up quite considerably, so lessened the amount of dark grains in there. Maybe up the DRC a little bit, just to get a little bit more of those sort of raisiny caramel sort of notes in there, with a bit of amber malt as well, and some dark Munich in there. Yeah,
so we're brewing on 3-vessel system.
Yep.
What was your choice of going for like a 3-vessel rather than what's probably more popular way to brew now, which is on like a G30 or a single vessel system?
So I did have an all-in-one. It was a Class Dean that I didn't get on with particularly well. Ended up getting sent back to Germany, and it came back with the same fault.
Right.
So it wasn't really holding the mash temp particularly well.
Right.
So it's probably user error. But I decided to just get this equipment when it came up, and never look back really.
Yeah,
it just works well for me.
Honestly, the 3-vessel brewing, obviously where I started as well, and it really makes you feel part of the process.
Yeah.
And when you make your own kit as well, it kind of teaches you how to get around problems. Obviously, there are problems that do occur on a brew day, but having built the equipment, you absolutely know the process, and it just helps with those little problems that come up from time to time.
Yeah, definitely. And there are little hacks and enhancements I can make. I've got a little sparge adapter. Actually just use the recirculation item on there now as well, because I just find that works better for me. It's not so much splashing about, and the Homescore is probably my next thing I need, just to sort of help with raising the mash temp if I need to, or doing step mashing. At the moment that's a little bit more manual.
Yeah, and obviously like being in an outbuilding outside the house as well, obviously throughout the year the temperature in here changes, doesn't it? So being able to manage those temperatures and absolutely nail them. Brett, let's take a little bit of a closer look at the actual brewing setup.
Sure.
Talk us through the system, Brett. How's the flow working?
Okay, so HLT, hot liquor tank there, and I've currently got the mash, the strike water heating up at the moment, and we've got 2 pumps. So first pump will just be used to underlet and get the mash temp up.
You've also got a recirculation on your hot liquor ton there, so you can keep the temperature even right throughout the vessel.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, so the mash tun, you mentioned underletting. Oh, it's so easy, makes going in so much easier.
Yeah.
So you're putting the grain in first.
Yep.
And then
grain in first, and the salt additions.
Yeah, and then pumping the mash liquor in through the bottom.
Yep.
Just let it soak up for a little while, and give it a stir. But basically, the work's done, isn't it? Now that's a big whisk.
It's a lightsaber, Jim. It's a lightsaber, isn't it, Jim?
It is, yeah.
That's wicked. In fact, that's a perfect tool. That's exactly what's required. And then your kettle here.
Then the kettle, 70-litre kettle, allows me to do single, double, triple brews, and that's got a 3 kilowatt element in there.
So also you've got a whirlpool port on here as well, so you can whirlpool at the end of the boil.
Yes.
You use pellet hops and leaf hops in here.
Yep.
The filter on here, do you ever have any problems with the filter blocking, or how do you get around that?
I have used leaf hops in the past before adding that filter, and I did block the pump.
Yeah.
So I bag up any loose any leaf hops now, really, if I'm ever going to use them, which is predominantly used for Saz, for my lagers.
Yeah.
But, and I'll use pellets and I will use hop spider for that. I don't tend to put loose hops in there so much anymore.
I do find if you're using leaf hops and a pump, it causes problems because it's almost like you're pulling the leaf hops into any sort of filter. If you're doing everything under gravity, absolutely no issue. But leaf hops and a pump can be an issue. So obviously we're in a converted garage here. You've obviously have to do some extra power work because you've got a 3 kilowatt element in here. You put this in yourself?
No. It works. I didn't do it. So yeah, I had that done about 3 months ago. I wasn't able to run the HLT, which is like 2.4 element, and the 3 at the same time.
Yeah, I guess you've been tripping it
out. So yeah, that's now got its own dedicated supply via the Commando box there, and added some extraction, which doesn't quite do the job entirely, but it's much better. And
yeah, I mean the amount of steam in here is going to be
a little bit steamy still.
Yeah, so actually the extractor is absolutely ideal, and a fan as well.
Yeah, get a couple of fans on the go as well. The door will be open, which makes it a little bit tight for space, but it's a must-have. Otherwise we'll be having a bit of a Turkish bath.
Right, we're going to get a brew on.
Let's do it. Let's brew.
Brett, you've doughed in. All right, you're using RO water.
Yeah, I've got an RO system pretty much from the get-go. Started using Ashbeck for a few brews, but I've found that RO's better to just start from zero, build the profile that I'm aiming for.
You've noticed a big increase in the quality of the final beer that you're producing.
Yeah, much better quality.
Yeah. And that underletting is just such an easy way to dough in. One of the things that's a lot more difficult to control on a 3-vessel system like this is your temperatures. So what temperature did you set the strike water at?
Strike water for this was 75 degrees, so aiming for a mash temp of 67. I'd always take the temperature up in the HLT a few degrees higher, just to make sure it's easier to just chuck a little bit of cold RO water in top to balance out to get the temperature correct. Yeah,
because obviously, it's much easier to raise the temperature if it is wrong rather than bringing it down.
Definitely.
It's actually quite a difficult thing to manage with different temperatures of the grain, different times of year.
Yeah.
The actual vessels themselves are different temperatures. So
yeah, preheating the mash vessel is the mash tun is also something that I don't always remember to do, but it's always handy to do that. Just helps.
Yeah,
use about 3 degrees otherwise, sometimes more, depending on what the ambient temperature is.
Yeah, because actually this is quite a lump of stainless steel, and it really does draw out temperature really quite a lot.
Yeah, it can do.
Actually, I admire what you're doing here because the skill involved in getting that right, it's a lot more difficult than flicking a switch on a single vessel system or you're controlling it on your phone. It's definitely a much more hands-on experience and takes a lot more skill and knowledge of the actual system.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I'll get it bang on every time, but it does change from time to time. And I think my next upgrade will probably be a Hermes coil to allow me to control that a little bit easier. I know a lot of people have got control boxes and monitoring temperature throughout each of the vessels.
Yeah.
For me, I personally enjoy having that, not having quite so much control.
No, I know exactly what you mean. It's definitely, as I said, much more of a skillful and hands-on experience. Brett, you were taking real care about the mash pH.
Yep, for this brew it's 5.2 pH, which is fairly desirable for most brews, and I've had to use 4 ml of lactic acid to get that down.
So actually, the mash pH, if you get it right, it actually helps you right throughout the process of the beer, right through fermentation, a healthier fermentation. And actually, if you're shooting for a clear beer, it really helps with that as well.
Yeah, which this needs to be clear.
Yeah.
Definitely, we're going to be doing a 60-minute mash.
Yeah.
We're going to just do a single infusion, so there's no steps in this at all.
Yeah.
Be fly sparging, and not long now till you'll be digging out.
Nice.
So Brett, we are well underway with the boil now. It's been awesome seeing like the brewing process whilst I've been behind the camera for the last couple of bits. Rob, you did a very good job of digging out the mash tun.
I thought so too.
Yeah, really good. We'd like to go a little bit deeper now on the recipe and the inspiration for this beer. So Brett, tell us a bit more about where the beer came from, your inspiration behind it, and then we'll dive a little bit more into some of the ingredients that are being used.
Yeah, sure. So there's red IPA, as I mentioned earlier on. It's not Star Wars named, which is unlike most of my other beers. Actually, it's a little bit of a dedicated beer to my granddad, who was
cool.
a Drayman for Watney's.
Nice.
And although I haven't heard very good things about Watney's beers, but Red Barrel is a key ring and an emblem that I remember. So it's going to be and his name was Ron, so it's Elder Ron, as in there's a Star Wars reference.
Yeah.
And it's Elder Ron's Red Barrel. So Red Barrel.
Awesome. Oh, fantastic.
Dedicated to him. So yeah, it's I brewed a red IPA my last brew day, and it actually came out fairly okay. I was happy with it. I just wanted to tweak it a little bit, bring the colour down just a little bit. It was a little bit on the darker side. So, and that's the first time I've sort of really done that, especially recently, where I've actually brewed something, been pretty happy, but just wanted to fine tune it, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity to do that.
Brett, was that the one that we tried last night?
It was the one you tried last night.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Actually,
might have to have another snifter of that before we hit the road.
Yeah.
Well, me, not you. You're driving.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do as well is just learn a little bit more about the recipe itself. So maybe talk us through the grist. What have we got going on in there?
So we've got a mixture of Golden Promise and Simpson's Lager Malt in there as the primary base, and then for some layering, some colour is some amber malt, some dark crystal, and some DRC, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of Carafa Free for just to get that colour that I'm after.
Yeah, without adding any more astringency or any more
absolutely.
roastiness, really. Yeah.
Actually, red, it's got to be one of the most difficult colours in a beer to actually crack.
Yeah.
It's a real tricky one.
And with the last brew, that's the thing, I just overdid that Carafa 3. I'd cold steeped it previously, so I was just adding it into the boil and I got the colour exactly where I thought I needed it, but actually during fermentation it actually darkened. I loved the colour in the trial jar, but actually the colour post fermentation was a lot darker, so I'm hoping to learn from that during this brew day. And the sample I've taken from the kettle at the moment does seem to be on the money, but let's see.
Cool.
Come back and we'll find out.
So now, as it's a red IPA, hops are going to play a significant part in the finished beer.
Yeah.
What have we got going on? What hop choices have you
So
picked?
we've got, for first wort hop addition, we've got just 15 grams of Centennial.
Okay, nice.
And then 20 and 25 grams, respectively, of Chinook and Centennial for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then a whirlpool of Centennial. I think there may be another Centennial edition a bit further in the
That's
boil.
fine. We love Centennial, so you know,
yeah, I'm pretty sure. And it's 65 grams in the whirlpool.
Yeah.
And then it's dry hop with Citra and Strata.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, actually, and that beer that we tried last night, the first version of this, you actually get that sort of dank and resinous character about it, which is absolutely delicious when you layer them.
Piney with the roastiness from the malt, and it's, for me, it's a style that I really love. I actually recently brewed a red IPA as well. I wanted it for bonfire night. I wanted like a sort of toffee kind of hoppy thing.
Yeah.
And the joy of that style is that it's a real sort of celebration of the hops, but in a beer that's more suited to the colder times of year, you know, and it's wonderful.
And it's still quite young. the one that we drank last night. So I think only with a bit more time, all that caramel and toffee will come through a bit more.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Just improve more. Yeah.
Awesome. And then I guess to round it all out, what about yeast? What yeast have you chosen?
So nice West Coast clean lax WHC lax yeast.
Yeah.
That should do the job, I think.
Yeah,
a couple of packets
awesome.
of those. It's looking like it might be a little bit up on numbers, so we'll see. But 2 packs should do the job, no problem.
Yeah, so we actually got more efficiency out the grain than,
Yeah,
than
we
you
did,
were expecting.
There's a couple of things that have really stood out for me so far in the brew in terms of like the innovations that you've built into your brewery. I've been harping on all day about the clips that you've got on the side of the bench.
The simplest of things.
Yeah, so to hook the hoses in
Yeah.
and keep them upright.
Yeah.
Like, so simple, but really, really effective. Love that.
I'd like
Absolutely
to
love
say it saved any liquid from getting on the floor today, but
Well,
We have had the mop out.
absolutely tanking it down outside, so it's just diluting from the rainwater,
Yeah.
so it's fine. The other thing that I really like is actually to do with the mash tun. The way that centre drain works, but it is bang in the middle of the mash tun
Yeah.
as well, so you haven't got to worry about tipping it or anything like that. It's really good for that.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's light.
And then the last thing, which we haven't used yet, but that we will do, I'm certain, is the whirlpool arm. So you've got a lovely little extension that you've put on there with some 15mm copper pipe to drop the whirlpool right down close or underneath the surface, which again just minimises the chance of that hot side aeration.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, really cool. Excellent.
Yeah, actually, we're big fans of being as gentle as you possibly can with the beer right throughout the process. And that really helps with that.
Right, so I guess we've got a hop edition to chuck in shortly, right?
We have.
Yeah, nice. Let's crack on.
Let's do it.
Well, look, Brett, we have hit the end of Brewday and it's been fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for inviting us. But also, thank you for pouring us a little bit of the red IPA from your first batch.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks wonderful.
It smells wonderful. I love the resinous pininess of it. It's like the hop levels holding up really well.
Yeah, with the touch of that roastiness from the malt as well.
That's a really nice beer, Brett.
Yeah, very good indeed. You've got the trial jar over there as well, haven't you, Rob?
I have.
Because obviously you've said that you've tweaked the recipe that we've brewed today.
I wanted the colour to come down just a little bit. I noticed a lot of it got a lot darker post fermentation, so that what's in the trial jar there now does look a little bit lighter than what was in the trial jar for this beer. So
Yeah.
I think it should be about where I want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. It's absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait to try this version that you've brewed with us today. Right, it's going to be really, really cool.
It's been really good. I've loved having you guys. Last night was an absolute blast. Today was a blast.
Yeah.
Come back anytime. You're welcome anytime. And either come back and have the beer when it's ready, or we'll do something over Tinternet or in person somewhere. Again, would be brilliant.
Yeah, it'd be really good.
And actually being here and brewing with you and seeing on our journey of how other homebrewers brew has been really a really exciting thing to do. It's been really good.
I mean, the man cave is like just next level. All of the Star Wars stuff, it's right up my street. I've been in my element all day today, trying to get photos and little snippets of B-roll that will be interlaced throughout the video. But it's really cool. It's a lovely place. You've been really welcoming and hospitable and really looked after us. So it's, yeah, massive thanks, mate. It's been awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you
and
very
thanks
much,
to you guys
Thank
as
you.
well.
But now it's over to all of you at home, because Brett's recipe kit is available for you to buy from us on our website. There's a link in the description below. Please check it out, because it's an awesome beer, and actually the recipe is so well crafted. You should be really proud of it, Brett. If any of you have thoughts, comments or questions, drop them down below. If you've got a question for Brett, we'll sling them his way and get you the answer that you need. If you've got any feedback on this or anything you'd like to see us do next, please let us know, because getting to come and spend time with our customers, with homebrewers, seeing all of the cool innovations that you've got in this brewery to make it work for you is really, really cool. So thank you once again, mate.
Cheers.
No problem. Cheers to that.